Listen to why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What if comparing car insurance rates was as easy as putting on your favorite podcast? With Progressive, it is. Just visit the Progressive website to quote with all the coverages you want. You'll see Progressive's direct rate, then their tool will provide options from other companies so you can compare. All you need to do is choose the rate and coverage you like. Quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
In a world of endless notifications, there could be an important one you're missing. Your kidneys may be signaling an SOS. With high blood pressure or type 2 diabetes, your kidneys could be warning you of early signs of damage, which may put you at higher risk for events like heart attack or stroke. But there's a simple test that can help spot a hidden signal. Ask your doctor about a urine test called UACR to help detect kidney disease and heart risk early. To learn more, visit detectthesos.com today.
Here's Colin Mochrie, who joins us, longtime comedian and improvisationalist. He'll be in Wichita again on August the 18th. Colin, it's our pleasure. Hello, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
You bet. So we were just talking about the art of improvisational comedy. Neither of us really have any clue how you're able to do this as well as you've done it for many years, along with your partner now, Brad Sherwood, and your show, Whose Line Is It Anyway? How did that become a part of your fabric, your personal fabric of comedy?
Oh, good question. I was a very quiet young man growing up, but I always loved comedy. From the old silent guys to the golden age of television, anyone that made me laugh. And so when I went into theater school, I saw this demonstration of this thing called improv, and I thought, oh, that looks like it'd be fun. So it was just something. For me, there was a theater in Vancouver where they would have improv matches every weekend. So it just became a thing where I thought, well, this is going to be just a fun thing to do, never thinking, oh, this is going to be my career.
So, yeah, I was going to ask you about your childhood. You know, you were born in Scotland, but you grew up mostly in Canada, kind of moved around Canada a little bit. Was there a need for a sense of belonging? Is that kind of maybe why you got into acting and theater? Or was it, like you said, you just always loved comedy and maybe you would have been on that path anyway?
My plan was to become a marine biologist. So I was in sciences up until, I think, the second to last year of high school. And because I was so shy, a friend of mine dared me to try out for the school play, which I got. And then I got my first laugh. And that was pretty much the end of all sciences. I thought, nope, this is what I want now forever. So immediately switched to drama and then did the slow build to lower stardom.
Talking with Colin Mochrie. He will be in Wichita at the Orpheum Theater with Brad Sherwood on August the 18th. So you mentioned, Colin, that you were a quiet kid, but you like comedy. So only you know what was working inside of your mind during all those quiet moments. Were you funny to yourself? Did you know that you had a funny brain, so to speak?
Oh. You're making me think too much. I think so. I thought, I was funny with my small group of friends, but I never had any thought of having that translate to a bigger audience. And it was really, I think through hit and miss, just learning what made me laugh and what I thought was funny, and then sort of working it towards a larger audience. I've always been very lucky in that I've worked with great people. So, I would pick their brains. Also, everyone I ever laughed at on television, I would watch them, try to figure out what it was about them that made me laugh and what I could use or steal and put it through my own viewpoint.
So what has been, from your perspective, kind of the evolution of the art of improv I know it was really put on the map with Whose Line Is It Anyway, and you and Wayne and Ryan and Drew and the other people who participated in that show. So what did you feel like kind of was your role in the evolution of it, and what from kind of the outside looking in maybe has the evolution been for you?
I think the part of being the show, it just gave improv an identity. Whenever anyone would talk about improv, they would go, like that show, Whose Line Is It Anyway? And because of that, it sort of got improv into the public consciousness. And it had been around for a while, but it was mostly used in acting schools as sort of a tool to delve into your character. You would do little improvs to a day in your life of your character or something like that. Or Second City always used it to come up with scenes for their sketch show. But Whose Line was sort of the first show where it was just pure improv for entertainment's sake. And then it sort of burst from there. Colleges and high schools started improv clubs. I mean, in one way, it's a very cheap hobby. All you need is an audience and people to work with, and you can pretty much do it anywhere. And since that time, it's just evolved into, there's Dungeons and Dragons improvs where you go on a quest through this incredible journey. People are finding different ways to use improv in an entertaining way.
Talking with Colin Mochrie at the Orpheum Theater. He will be with Brad Sherwood on the 18th of August. So I'm going to throw this out at you and see if it takes. I also grew up in your era. I'm a couple years older than you are. I watched a lot of TV comedians. I especially was tuned in to Johnny Carson and his show, and my favorite comedian of all time is Don Rickles, who I regarded as somewhat of an improv comedian, especially on that show. Does he fit? Did you study him at all? Is that one of your guys?
Yes, absolutely. Don Rickles was someone that we all, and of course nowadays it'd be, I think, very hard for him to get a career going. But at that point, I don't think he had an act. He just went out and riffed off the audience to a great success. He also somehow he was able to insult an entire audience without them feeling bad about it, which is a really rare skill. So I would watch him just to, because I never felt easy when I was at Second City talking to audiences. There would be times where, you'd have to stall while people were getting ready for a scene. So I would watch him and try to figure out how he could be so relaxed in front of an audience with seemingly nothing. And that really helped me studying him.
What has it been like for you as an entertainer to be synonymous with another entertainer? And I think that would be Ryan Stiles. You kind of grew up in the industry together. Obviously, on Whose Line, you partnered in so many hilarious sketches and acts and things like that. So, what has that been like for you to have that personal and professional relationship with him?
I'm just happy I managed to get him a career, because the poor guy was floundering. He had nothing. He didn't know what to do. I was very fortunate. We were very fortunate we came together early in our careers. We basically grew up together. He started off doing stand-up. I was with an improv troupe when we kind of met, and it was just one of those magical moments. It was just, we immediately hit it off. We immediately hit it off on stage and off stage. And what I loved about Ryan was he got as much pleasure setting you up for a joke and you doing the joke as he did getting the joke himself, which is very rare for comedians. So again, I learned a lot from him on how to be selfless on stage and how to work with a group and how to set up other people. We're all part of the same thing, and it's just as important to set up a joke as it is to take the punchline.
Well, I think a part of it, too, is that, I don't take this the wrong way because it's certainly not meant to be that, but you both kind of look like comedians, so I kind of start laughing the minute I look at you. I think you're funny. Is that an insult, by the way? Did I just... that's
No,
certainly not meant to be one.
Ryan looks like Don Martin, who used to write for Mad Magazine. He looks like one of his creations. You know, a tall, kind of gawky guy. And I guess I also have a kind of a comedic face. So we kind of, that also sort of helped. And, you know, we were big fans of people like, you know, Harvey Korman and Tim Conway and all the greats throughout the years. So I'm absolutely fine with that. It gave us both a career. We're happy.
Jeff asked you about Ryan Stiles, of course. I want to ask you about Brad Sherwood because you've been touring with him for a long time. Just the chemistry that has to be there when you do what you two guys are doing, and you've been on the road together, and just talk about that kinship and chemistry and how it comes about, and is it easy to preserve that?
Yeah, I think, I mean, we were friends before we started working together, so that helps. Also, we're different touring people. He is obsessed with details. He is, you know, things I would never think about. He focuses on that and takes care of it to make our tour better. Where I truly don't care. I'm basically there to make sure he doesn't have a stroke. That's my contribution to our tour. And, you know, I think we've been touring for 22 years. We've never had a disagreement. We both have the same, I think, sort of philosophy about improv. We're constantly coming up with new ways of getting us outside of our comfort zone, because we find that's when the most fun for us and the most fun for the audience is when we put ourselves in almost impossible situations. So it really helps when you both have the same sort of view as to where you want the show to do.
I, watched Whose Line Is It Anyway with Drew, and then during the pandemic and after, rediscovered the show with Aisha Tyler. Still hilarious. Had a lot of huge laughs with my family. I think you maybe get your biggest laughs when you name the television shows or documentaries or whatever that interrupt or that are, you know what I'm talking about, with the music before Wayne. How do you come up with the names of those programs?
I just have a big backlog. I think from my years at Second City, we would often do parodies of shows. And there's things in there that just it take me by surprise when they come out of my mouth. It's like, oh, okay. Sometimes I can plan them. Sometimes I go, yeah, I should come up with something here. So I'm constantly going through the Rolodex of what's the popular show right now that I can make fun of, or the popular movie that I can make a pun out of their name. So it's part of the only homework you do as an improviser is just keeping up with what's going on in the world, so you can be able to deal with anything that the audience gives you.
Colin Mochrie, our final moments here. He will be at the Orpheum with his improv partner, Brad Sherwood, coming up on Sunday, August the 18th. I want to ask you about the Drew Carey Show. You were a guest on that show a handful of times. I still kind of associate this whole group together. Talk about the appeal of that show, because here we are so many years later, and I think anybody who watched that show loved it, looks back longingly. Why did that show work as well as it did?
It was a lot of luck, I think. When I think of Whose Line and how they could have pitched it, it makes no sense that it actually made it on air. We were really lucky that Drew was involved, because at that point Drew was he was ABC, so he was a big fan of the British version. And when they wanted to do an American version of it, and to a television executive, if you walk into the office, go, I have a show. There's 4 people who you don't know. They don't have a show until people yell things at them, and then they make stuff up. I can't understand why they went, yeah, okay, we'll do that. But the belief in Drew really helped that show happen. And I think it was a really strong group of improvisers, and everybody had a distinct personality. And we all have, from that show, our fan clubs, people who are rabid about what we do and follow us in every avenue of show business. So we really lucked out with the cast. It was at a point where there was nothing like it on television. A lot of sitcoms I felt were starting to get stale, where you could sort of go along with them, and you could almost come up with the punchline before the characters on the show did. and whose line was fresh and that you never knew where a punchline was coming. Nobody knew where a setup was. It was just weird and wacky.
Well, Colin, we really appreciate it. I guess I should ask you, since we kind of base our show on sports, being a Toronto person, are you into the Blue Jays, Raptors, Argonauts, Maple Leaves, any of that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a hockey guy, so, I have years of misery with the Maple Leafs. It's all part of our thing. Maybe next year. And the Blue Jays are kind of tanking this year. The Raptors had a bad year. We're due something to break. I don't know what our women's hockey team did very well until the playoffs. Then they followed what the guys did. But I think there's a foundation there. Hopefully, one day in my lifetime, I'd like to see us win something.
Well, sorry to bring you down with that last question, but we certainly appreciate your time. We look forward to your appearance here at the Orpheum Theater with your buddy Brad Sherwood on the 18th of August. Colin, thanks so much. It's been a pleasure for us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on.
Thanks.
You bet. Colin Mochrie.
Listen up, folks. Never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
I'm caught up in the game. My attention is on every play and every whistle. But what I'm missing is a signal coming from my kidneys. That signal isn't like a ref's whistle. It's more of a silent SOS, which could be warning me of an increased risk for events like heart attack or stroke. And a way I can catch that signal? A simple urine test called UACR. If you have type 2 diabetes or high blood pressure, talk to your doctor about the UACR test. Detect the SOS. Visit detectthesos.com to learn more.
That was Foggy Mornings. Up next is Let It Sleep on Back to Bed Radio.
If you have idiopathic hypersomnia, it could be time to remix the playlist of your day. That epic struggle to wake up, the endless sleepiness. It's time to raise your expectations. Learn about a treatment for idiopathic hypersomnia. Visit testyourtiredness.com.
That is more like it, and more your style. Discover more about a treatment option for idiopathic hypersomnia at testyourtiredness.com so you can remix your day.
Starting your own business can be intimidating. Suddenly you're wearing all the hats. Designer, marketer, customer support, shipping expert. It's a lot. That's where Shopify comes in. Shopify is the global commerce platform powering millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US. Shopify has your back. With hundreds of ready-to-use templates, you can launch a beautiful, professional online store that looks and feels like you. Need content? Shopify's AI tools can help you write product descriptions, headlines, even enhance your product photos. Want to grow your reach? Easily create email and social media campaigns to meet your audience wherever they're scrolling. And with Shopify's world-class support, you'll have expert help for everything. Turn your big business idea into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast. Go to shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast. Shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast.